Good morning and welcome to my journey with Leiomyosarcoma, or welcome back, depending on you. Anyway, it's been quite the journey, and I'm here to share a little bit about what's happened and what's been going on. I have Leiomyosarcoma stage 4, a high grade, and it with metastases. So last week, I had my scans at Mayo, and for these scans, they do a chest CT and an abdomen and pelvis MRI. And hold on, my dog just barked. Oh, anyway, and so I had those last week, but right now I'm having pumpkin spice coffee, and I make it myself with Coffee Mate and pumpkin pie spice mix. And this is the gargantuan one from Sam's, because I just keep doing this every year. And I make my own. And then you too can make your own and enjoy. So anyway, back to my scans. I ended up getting a message. We usually get a message from Mayo that within a couple hours, maybe an hour and a half of the scans. And because we drive so far, they usually schedule us with with my oncologist up there immediately, well, that afternoon sometime. So I got the message from my scans, and it read, lungs and airways. New non-specific sub 4 millimeter nodules in the left lower lobe and right middle lobe, and they give the image numbers, and you can go look. And I usually do go look at the image numbers, and I can never find them. So they're very small. These are less than 4 millimeters, so they're considered micronodules. And they are too small to biopsy because the needle is very small also. And so I don't know why my dog keeps barking. Anyway, I hope you don't hear that. So anyway, everything else looked good, and everything else was stable, and nothing down in my nether regions. And the previous biopsy was benign, so yay for benign. Yay. So now with these new nodules, micronodules, they're going to, they have me schedule my next scans for October, at the end of October, which is 2 months away. But I don't know, for those of you who followed last time I had a metastases, it grew really fast. It was in less than 4 weeks, it had quadrupled in size, maybe more than quadrupled. And so I'm not really happy that it's every 2 months, because there's a lot of growth that can happen within weeks. Anyway, so oddly enough, I have scans at Moffitt scheduled for September. So I'm actually gonna have it, they'll look at it then and see if they've grown, or maybe they disappear. Maybe they're not cancer at all. Yay, hopefully. Anyway, either way, my appointment at Moffitt in September, I'm getting the chest, the abdomen, and the pelvis CT scan, because they say that you can tell cancer better with the CT, and an MRI is good for kind of zoning in and making sure where it is and what layer it is, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so I get my CT then. That's like right between, that's like 1 month after my previous one and before the next one. So I'm happy with that. So that all works out well. But Dr. Druda down at Moffitt said they wouldn't do my scans every other month the way Mayo has. They would only do them every 3 months. And that sort of has me a little worried, because this is a very aggressive cancer. And I think they need to catch it and do what they can quickly. And so do they. So I asked about why they wouldn't do a scan every 2 months. And she said, well, we don't know if your insurance will cover it, but they will. And we feel like that just adds a layer of anxiety that we don't need, specifically that I don't need. But I think just the opposite. So I think it will alleviate some anxiety. So we're gonna go with what we have now, and we'll decide that after October, maybe before October. But my local oncologist said she would schedule a scan in between if I wanted, so that's nice. So I asked the doctor up at Mayo about what sorts of steps would come next if this is indeed some metastases. And he had suggested other chemotherapies that would include, like, let's see, doxorubicin, Doxil, dacarbazine or Temidor, Yondelis, Pozapanib. And I don't know where they come up with these names for this, or my cancer even. But although I do know that the cancer is a German name, and instead of Leiomyosarcoma, it's pronounced Leiomyosarcoma because the L-E-I versus, anyway. So anyway, these treatments are all regimens recommended, of course, by the National Cancer Guidelines. And we're just going to wait for the next scan to see what happens. And we'll go from there. But they also have some biopsy options. So they could put a scope down my throat and biopsy those things in my lungs and get them out while they're there, I suspect. But if I don't know how that would work. Anyway, they should get them while they're there. I mean, if you're going to biopsy, why not just like grab it out of there? And so the other way is to go through my chest wall and biopsy the whole thing. But then you have to go back and do surgery after that. I don't know. I just think it's better if you use that bronchoscopy thing and grab a little and, you know, grab the whole thing while you're there. But we'll see. They also have different things that they do for these kind of metastases, like ablation. They use like cold or hot to freeze it or burn it or whatever. And anyway, that's to come later if needed. But right now, we're just going to wait and see, because that's what we do with this cancer, is wait and see. I've been reading a lot on the trial that Dr. Druda has going. I don't know if it's her trial or she's just, you know, one of the doctors participating in it. But I have found out that it has worked for some people and has not worked for others. It's targeting the CD47 protein, so as it moves on, they're saying that it is effective in metastatic leiomyosarcoma, but I think the studies show that it's all in rats, and things don't necessarily work the same for people as they do in rats in this cancer. But that is super hopeful, and we're gonna see about getting on that trial. I am concerned with trials about the phases, because I don't wanna get a placebo. I wanna see if this works, because, you know, it's gonna keep happening. We know that. It's metastases, so it's gonna keep happening. They're high grade, metastatic, blah, blah, blah. And so anywhere from 40 to 85% of leiomyosarcoma metastasizes. So we got that. We know it's going to happen. So I don't want a placebo. But I know that these studies are all about the future. And so if this study would help somebody else down the road, I'm all for it. But I would like it also to help me. Period. All right. So from there, nothing more exciting happened. Let's see. My micronodules. The one before that, I went back and read my radiology report, and it says like, no metastases. Nothing. It's like, yay. And now this one. So non-specific sub 4 millimeter nodules. My airways are good. So every ache I get, every pain I get, I'm like, is that cancer? Is that cancer? I mean, everything. So when my doctor said to me, do you have any pains? I was like, yes. And they're all cancer, I can tell you, except they don't show up on the scan. No. So, so they're not cancer, and they still, I'm still bothered by them because that's the first thing that comes to mind. I'll be happy for the day when that's not the first thing that comes to mind, but we'll see how that happens. Anyway, as you can see, my hair is growing back in. I'm very thankful for that. So when my dignity was nicked, a little bit damaged when my hair went. And now I realize that it's a good thing because people actually are very receptive to talking to me and going, hey, what's going on? Or, you know, they ask about the chemotherapy and everything. I was like, yeah, it's superficial, it'll grow back. And here, lo and behold, it is growing back. But you can see I have sort of a natural part here and a natural part there. So I'm like, I think it just should like maybe go up this way. I don't know. Anyway, it is going up that way, whether I like it or not. I keep trying to tamp it down and it doesn't work. And then I'm like, okay, maybe it needs to go that way, and that didn't work, and okay. So whatever. But it is growing, probably all gray. You see the gray? All gray. Anyway, it feels like it's got a little blonde in it, but a lot of gray. People tell me it's gray. I don't like to hear that, so, you know, whatever. Yeah. So everything that the cancer has taken away from me has been replaced with a lot of really great blessings. Blessings that include things like being able to talk to people about my situation and being empathetic towards theirs. I met a man who was, we were sitting in the waiting room at the outpatient surgery area at Mayo. He and his wife were there, and then she got called back, and so he started sharing a little bit about what she's going through, and she's having a radical hysterectomy, and it's probably going to take 5 to 6 hours in surgery. Anyway, when he asked me why I was there, who I was waiting for, I said, well, I'm waiting for me. And he said, well, good luck. And I said, no, I don't believe in luck. I believe in blessings. I believe things happen for a reason. There's no such thing in my book as luck. So we had a little chat about that. And after they came back and called me, then I was walking away and he says, good luck. Oh, okay, bye. So it was sort of funny, but it was a reminder that, I don't have this cancer for no reason. And if it's to talk to people and empathize with them and hear their stories and share my story, then it's all good. So, all right, yeah. So good news, they didn't find anything anywhere else. My esophagus is mostly decompressed. I don't even know what that means. So a lot of the things that they say in these reports, I don't have a clue. But when they say the word metastases, that gets my attention. So we'll see. So they've also found a spot on my left exterior iliac, and they've been keeping their eye on that for a while, but there hasn't been any real change in that. So that's why I don't think that's cancer, because there hasn't been any change. This is an aggressive cancer, and if it were going to be this cancer, it would have grown, I think. So from the beginning, they've been keeping their eye on that, and it hasn't grown. So yeah, that's my story. I need a sip of coffee. So another thing is we get a lot of junk mail, and I went online and signed up for this thing where it starts to remove your junk mail, and now it's like boom, we're getting it all again. So if you know any secrets to the junk mail thing, I'd like to know those. That would be super helpful, because their junk mail is not very helpful. But I did read that if you write something on it like refuse delivery, that they'll learn. We'll see. I'll do that and we'll see how that goes. All right. Well, thanks for following me. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing your stories also. And feel free to add to your stories and tell me what's going on with you. I get a lot on the Facebook pages. I hear so many stories about what other people go through, and I am amazed at the strength of these people that have this disease, and they've had it for years and years. And even the ones that have only just found out they have this, their diagnosis has just been like within days. And I find so much strength in the way people respond to them. And I will admit, on one of the pages, I get dinged or warned, and my comments have been removed because I mentioned God. So, oh well, God's a part of my journey. He is. There you go. So I'm not going to stop mentioning him. What I have to do is stop posting on that website or on that Facebook page. And that's sad because I don't like preach. I just say, may God bless you as you walk through this journey. Or I'll be praying for you. God is with you. Just like all these, I just mention him. And they don't like that. So check. Done. All right. So have a great month. I'll probably be back on after my next scans at Mayo, at Moffitt. I hear that they put their stuff on their portal within a couple days, and I can work with that. So I'm gonna be back on in a few weeks after my results are posted, and we find out if my micronodules have grown. They're less than 4 millimeters. Anything larger than that, I'll be reporting on it. Okay, well, happy pumpkin spice coffee, and have a good day. And thanks again for following me, and thanks for praying for me. Thanks for your good thoughts, and thank you for being there for me. Love you. Bye.